Rachel, welcome to Crafty.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So congratulations on Maven Voyage. It's playing really well. People are loving it.
I'm so glad. I am so glad. Honestly, I made that film and I felt like it got shelved mostly once COVID hit. I didn't think it would do any numbers. So I'm happy people are at least watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, people are loving it, and we're thrilled to be able to have it on the channel. It's an awesome short and one that I've always been a fan of. So thanks for letting us share
Stop. Thank you.
it. So I'd love to dive in and ask you some questions about the production and sort of how you came up with the story. How did this process or project come to be?
Oh yeah. The story was I was listening to a podcast like back in 2018. It had just come out, I believe, and it was about NASA did this experiment where they had people living in Hawaii like they were living on Mars. Like it was the same kind of land and the same domes that they were living in, and they treated everything like they couldn't breathe outside and they had to grow plants indoors and do all this stuff that just to see how people responded. I mean, obviously gravity was available for us, but yeah, they lived as best as they could like they were living on Mars, and that's kind of where it all started. And I was like, oh, what if you just started training for this? That'd be so weird to just train on your own, but also could be fun. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. And I just had a good time making it.
So what was the writing process like? Did you have a fully fledged idea? Did you just start outlining? What's your sort of style of writing?
Oh my gosh. I would love to have like a dialed in outline type of process, but I think I am naturally a little more chaotic with my thoughts. So
Me too, 100%.
okay, good. I always assume writers are so like specific and organized and planned out, and I like just made like a real rough draft, and it was just kind of like draft after draft from there, and obviously giving it away to other people to tear it apart and rebuild it. Because yeah, I mean, I am certainly my harshest critic, but I think anything is like 10 times better when I can get notes from somebody else who can, who I really admire. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, from a genre standpoint, like one of the things I love about it, it sort of has this sci-fi element to it, but it's also a love story and a comedy in some ways. But then there's also a lot of like really heartfelt human drama. What genres do you tend to lean towards, and what were you thinking about genre-wise when you were making the movie?
Oh, that's such an interesting question. I don't think I had a genre in mind other than I wanted something that felt um I don't want to say ambiguous when it comes to romance, but maybe just like realistic, I guess. I
Hmm.
think we don't always know where we're going to end up or who we're going to end up with or how we feel emotionally about anybody. So I thought that that was an interesting take on a film that I think maybe most people assume they end up together, or maybe they assume they don't. I don't know. But leaving it ambiguous, at least in the romantic department, felt fun to me. And
Totally.
I don't really gravitate as much towards sci-fi. Like if I was going to pick a film, I really love films that this is so weird. I like films that stress me out. I want to feel like my heart is like going to like leap out of my chest, and like I need to have like just absolutely like 0 ounces of breath left by the end of a film. Like Uncut Gems is one of my
Uncut
favorites.
Gems,
Things
yeah.
like, and this is so far from that. So I guess I kind of pulled something together that I knew I was interested in, that I also like just had a soft spot for. So I guess that's how I ended up where I did.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean the film's beautiful. It's really funny. Do you have any filmmakers or even performers, actors that you love to watch and influence your work in any way?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes. I love the Safdie brothers.
Hmm.
The film It Follows is one of my favorite
Oh,
like horror suspense films. Gregory Crewdson is like a
oh
photographer
yeah.
I absolutely love. I think I worked on a feature with you, and I felt like a lot of you guys pulled from Gregory Crewdson's work, and so I spotted it right away. Um, Performers, actors. Oh gosh, the woman. I think the actress. Her name is Sarah Goldberg. She's on Barry, Bill Hader's show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Incredible, and I think Bill Hader is a wonderful director. I'm blanking on the DP of the show Barry, but I can't like I'm so in awe of that show and how they do these single shots of this whole entire scene, and everybody's emotion, everything, and it's just riveting to watch, and it's fascinating that they get coverage like that from a single shot, and yet I'm just like, oh, how did they do that? So yeah, that would be like one of my bigger inspirations for sure.
It's funny you bring that up. Like that show makes me so jealous every time I watch it. Just from the talent involved in every single department. It's just insanely well executed, and like you said, the coverage and it's just so simple and so engaging at the same time.
Right? It's wild. Like every single person. I also have like heard interviews with Bill Hader. He knows everybody on the crew's name, and he like addresses them in interviews like, "Oh, the sound guy and so and so." It's like to be that type of skilled like showrunner and director and creator. I just my hat is off to people who take the time to like acknowledge everybody who was a part of it, and it's just such a good show.
It really is. That's super cool. How did you have to get crafty in order to make your movie?
How did like I'll actually like get like food for everyone.
No, not
Wow.
food, not food. Like, how did you have to get creative or get crafty in the
Oh,
other meaning of the word? I do want to ask you about craft services though, but this first, like, how did you have to get like super creative and crafty in order to make your project
amazing.
happen?
I took that so literally. Or not. I don't know. Um
Where did you pick up the snacks from? Which Walmart did you go to?
went to Walmart. Shout out to Dilla's. So um yes, I got crafty. So the dome that we shot in is a greenhouse, and I did not know how hard it would be to get one of those.
Mm,
And I needed it shipped, and I couldn't find anything online, anything that would work, that I had to fit myself and John, the lead actor, and our camera, of course, our DP, Andrew, and sound, which was Taylor, and sometimes Paul would switch out. And I had to get all these people in this dome, and there was nothing like big enough. So anyway, long story short, I'm literally driving down to Louisiana, and I'm like, we don't even have the main set. We don't have the main piece, the main set piece. And I called this guy out of Rhode Island, and he like overnighted that bubble to us. I like paid him over the phone. I was like, just take my money. I don't know. I just have to have this like big, massive dome thing. And he was like, ma'am, you're making a movie? And I was like, yeah, we're going to be in it. And he's like, you're going to be really hot and sweaty. And we were.
yeah,
That was real
yeah. In
crafty. I
the
was
in the
panicking.
Louisiana heat.
Horrible idea. Horrible idea. I mean, I'm very, very, very grateful for all the people that are willing to sweat it out with me, but never again. If I shoot down there, I'm gonna shoot in the dead of winter. So
Yep, I like that.
lesson
I like that
learned.
idea. What was it like coming from Los Angeles to Louisiana to a place? I mean, obviously you know people here and had a
Yeah.
base of crew and stuff here, but like to get in a car and kind of take that leap of faith and come out here and make a movie, what was that like?
It was a little scary, but honestly, it was so fun. I think that um there is, I'm in I'm in Los Angeles, and I love it, right? It's great. It's fine. We can make movies here. There's like access to any type of equipment you need. You can get it tomorrow. Um, but I do realize that I think people in LA, it's like harder to get a shooting permit. It's harder to, find people who are excited about your project or like just willing to just jump in.
Yeah.
And For me, it was like worth the cross country drive, knowing like I'm going to be around really great people who are happy to be here. And getting equipment was a little more of a challenge, but hey, like it worked out. People really are down to make good films anywhere in the country. And I think that that's something that is forgotten, especially in Los Angeles. People forget that. So, yeah.
I'd love to talk about your lead or your co-lead, John, and
Oh,
how
John.
you sort of how he became part of the project, and like what maybe the rehearsal process was like, because you're also the director, but you're the lead actor in it. So, what did that rehearsal process look like in terms of giving him notes, but also you know working on the scenes together?
That was tough. Had I gotten to do everything over again, I think I was wearing too many hats. And John was just so gracious the entire time. He really was such a pillar, knowing like he never let me like throw performance for myself out the window when I was still trying to direct or like figure out what shot we needed next or how to rearrange the schedule to make it all happen. And um, John and I met, oh gosh, we probably met in 2013 or something. So we've known each other for about 10 years. And he's, when you just like meet somebody and you're just instant friends. Like it was kind of like that. And we just kept running into each other in Los Angeles at auditions and everything. And then we ended up in the same acting class together and took all these scene classes and just really have just, I don't know, we've just been each other's kind of leapfrog over the past decade. And I'm so grateful that, yeah, he was available and wanted to jump in. And we rehearsed a lot in Los Angeles together at my place. And then, flew him down so he didn't have to drive with me. Cause that would be, I mean, we might not be friends after that. But, but yeah, we flew him down and, he's just like a ball of energy and so specific about his choices on camera and just really an incredible actor to work with. I can't speak highly enough of John and his skills. And if you're ever wondering what he's up to, he's always working on a commercial. So he's always booking. He's, just turn on your TV, you'll see him.
Well, you definitely can feel that friendship and that trust between the two of you on camera. I think y'all play so well off of each other, and it's the dynamic is really fun and engaging. Um, yeah, and then of course, like your Andrew shot Maven Voyage as well. So, what was that like? I assume that like having people that you trust, like John and like Andrew, around makes your job being in front of the camera, but also working as the director a lot easier, having those people around you that you can really collaborate and have like a shorthand with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Andrew Mueller is great. He, has an incredible skill set as a DP. He is very, very patient with everybody on set. And he just is really kind and takes in everything. And, he really does pick up the pieces when it comes to the shot list where I think I'm thorough and creative. And he comes back with something that's like way better. And obviously that's why he's the DP. But, as much as I tried to prep him from my side of things, I know ultimately he's going to do tenfold better what I could come up with. And yeah, his talents between that and running all sorts of other equipment. And he's also very skilled lighting and everything like that. So he made things very easy in a way that it would have been way harder without him.
No, that's great. That's awesome. Okay, so now I want to talk about craft services, the food.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite crafty on set? What do you gravitate towards? Are you Funyuns, nacho cheese Doritos? What's your thing?
Oh gosh. That's tough. Well, first of all, my sparkling water addiction has it started on set and now it is like an unquenchable thirst. I'll never be fully quenched. And I could rank my opinions on different brands, but spicy water is what we call it.
Okay, I think I want the brand opinions.
Oh, okay. I mean, Topo Chico is probably up like first or second for me, I would say.
Good choice.
You know, I'm sure Joel Froome would feel otherwise. I don't know if that's his number one, but we tried to rank recently. As far as food, oh gosh, when I was in the South, I was just eating anything with like cheese on it, really. I queso of sorts. There was one day we had amazing craft like lunch on set. There was like multiple days. What am I kidding? Like every day was like a feast, and we ordered way too much food for everybody. So I was trying to force people to take food home every day. But okay, breakfast burritos are my jam in the morning. Come afternoon, I'm like, I gotta eat something light, but it never ends up being light. I usually gravitate toward Cheez-Its and sparkling
Ooh.
water. And there was like a chocolate on set that you were on set with me, and you got me hooked on it. And I still have one in my bag because I'm safe. This is gross because this is like almost 6 months later. I still have this piece of chocolate that I'm afraid to eat because it's so good. And I have saving it for a special occasion. I should probably put it like in the freezer or something, huh?
Well,
This is gross.
maybe the fridge. I don't know. No, that's great. I love it. I'm curious what it is, and I want you to send me a picture of it later.
I'll send you a picture. I can't believe I just said that. Just ignore that.
That's
People
amazing.
are gonna think I'm disgusting. Just holding chocolate.
No, they're not.
It's fine.
What? So you've obviously worked on a lot of movies, and Maven Voyage was your first short that you directed. Is that correct?
Yeah. I would say it was my first like child of sorts.
Sure. Your baby, your like special project.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to, young filmmakers, up and coming filmmakers, maybe somebody who's thinking about going to film school, or this is the path that they want to go down?
Oh, I love this question. I think my biggest takeaway is like maybe not a new advice, but it's just honestly never stop learning, and never stop learning from people that you work with or admire. And don't sell yourself short. Like really learn how to value your own skill set. Because I think for a long time I really didn't. As an actor, I didn't. As script supervisor, sometimes I still don't. And directing too. It's like all of that. Just remain humble, learn everything constantly, but just know how far you've come. I never really like took the time to look down at the bottom of the ladder that I was already climbing, and I wish I was always looking up, and I wish I like turned back a little bit just to see how far I'd come. So that's my advice.
That's really good advice. That's the first time anybody said that on here. So that's really good. I like that. What film is not your favorite film, but what film do you find yourself revisiting the most often?
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but that film, I don't know. I know it's like got that stressful element that I enjoy, but I think Margot Robbie is incredible in it. I think
Totally.
The way it moves is so wonderful. I don't know that there's a lot of fat to trim in that film, and I always revisit it for inspiration or just to like literally like get excited or anything like that. It like rejuvenates me in a way. It kind of gets me stoked to make movies.
Yeah, it definitely you brought up the energy, and it for sure has that just kind of breakneck pace to it, and it feels like a movie that Scorsese used to make, and he maybe hadn't made in a while. And I really like just the creative choices with the camera, and it almost just like has a wink with the audience the whole time. Like I love that about it.
It's
almost
so
Shakespearean
great.
In a way.
Yes, but the character building of all these, like even the smaller roles are it's just so well built out, the world and everything. And I mean, yeah, Scorsese, we get it. You're great. You're a great film director, blah, blah, blah. But like just in general, I think it's one of my most, I'm just so fascinated by it. I could just watch it over and over.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. Cool. Well, I guess the other question that I like to ask everybody, and you sort of answered it earlier, but maybe we can just revisit it. So if you could get in a time machine and go back and do maybe one thing differently on Maven Voyage? I think it turned out so beautifully and so perfectly, but we're always our own worst critics. So if you got that time machine and you could go back and maybe change one thing, what would that be?
I think I would take off like one of the hats I was wearing.
Hmm.
I am not like writing is okay. It's not my favorite thing to do. I would love to make someone else's script and not mine. I love the way it turned out, obviously, but I think if I could go back, I would just remove one or two of the hats that I decided to take on. Even editing it, I think I love editing actually, but I think I should have stepped away from the process a little bit. I think it's only healthy. And like I said, like you learn more from other people, and sometimes you got to let other people take the reins and make the film. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you mentioned working on somebody else's script, so that makes me want to ask, like, what are you up to next? What's next for you, from a short film standpoint, from a writing standpoint, anything like that?
Yeah, I have a friend out here who's a writer and a phenomenal writer too. We're working together on a short film that he's written. I just kind of approached him one day and was like, "You're a really good writer, and I bet you have like a million scripts that you just, write and then just put away somewhere." And he was like, "I do." And I read like maybe like 9 of them or something. Of course, he like sent me everything. He's like, "Here you go." And I had a hard time choosing. So we kind of narrowed some down, and we'll hopefully get something going this year. As it's just a short film, but it's a unique premise about people's awareness of being on social media and how that feels in real life. Like we're always on camera almost.
That's cool.
So yeah, working on that. And then I am kind of writing another short inspired by some stories from my mom and dad working at this bar called the Wonder Bar in Nebraska. So it'll be very, very funny, I hope.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And where can people find you if they want to learn more about your work?
Oh, I'm on TikTok and Instagram. I don't post nearly enough as I should. I need to be better about that. But I'm on Instagram as Rachel Emerson 00, and on TikTok I'm on Rachel Emerson 000, which is I don't even know why, but don't get me started on that. But yeah, that's the best way to find me. People could just like text me too. That's fine. I'm kidding.
Perfect.
Please don't text me.
Just text me and I'll vet the people that are coming for you. No, I'm just kidding. Well, thank you so much for this wonderful interview and for sharing your time and for sharing your beautiful, wonderful movie with the audience at Crafty. And definitely want to bring you back on the channel, down the road to do a lot. We're going to start doing these things live. So people from the channel can ask questions as we're doing the interview. So I'd love to bring you back for that when we do it.
That's so cool. Yeah, I'm just really glad you guys are starting this up, and I love that it has a home and just place to hang out, just like wear its little hat, stay for a while.
It's a little crafty hat.
Little crafty hat.
Love it. Well, thank you so much again.
Yeah, thank you.